Good afternoon and happy Thursday, everyone. It is Scott Wohlers with River Place Capital. It is Thursday, October the 2nd, and happy fourth quarter to everyone. I can't believe it is already the fourth quarter of 2025. Holidays will be right around the corner, but wishing you all a wonderful quarter ahead. We wanted to take just a minute to discuss what equity markets did last week, as it was a relatively flat week overall for all three major indexes that we track here at River Place. The S&P 500 was the winner on a down week, and it was only down 31 basis points, or 0.31% on the week. The mid-cap index, as measured by the S&P 400, was down 0.5 or 0.5%, 50 basis points. As well, and the small caps as measured by the S&P 600, those were down a little worse, down 70 basis points or 0.7%. And as we moved into this week, we were really looking at what are we going to get from the government shutdown, as well as are we going to get job numbers if the government shut down. So Tuesday at midnight, Wednesday morning at midnight, however you call that, the government of the United States did shut down. This is the seventh time since, I believe, the 80s that this has happened. And what's really fascinating about all of this is that every time the United States government has shut down previously, the equity markets have actually risen during that time period. They have not gone down. So as people are wondering, what impact is this going to have on my portfolio while we're sitting at all-time highs in the equity markets? Is it going to be the catalyst for a big downturn? Well, history would tell us it's not something that the equity markets get very concerned about. However, we don't know the impact of this current government shutdown, how long it will last. If it's short-lived, of course, you're not going to have a very big impact economically. Unfortunately, there are people who are out of work and furloughed during the time while the government is shut down. But if it's only for a brief period of time, you won't have an impact. But the longer that it is stretched out and that there is the shutdown happening, that's where you start to see the material impact to GDP and the economy and things like that, where you don't have deals getting done from an M&A perspective because there aren't any regulators who can approve them, so your deal stays stagnant. You don't have those mergers and acquisitions. The other regulatory things that slow down are oversight bodies that aren't able to do things, that don't allow progress to happen, which are an impact to growth. So the other thing that we wanted to talk about and touch base on is kind of the impact that we got from the ADP jobs report yesterday, which was the private sector jobs numbers showing a loss of 32,000 jobs for the month of September. So if you want to look at what the impact is, that's not very good, but what that means is that the Fed is not going to get tomorrow a BLS, Bureau of Labor and Statistics, jobs report because the government is shut down. So what that did is you saw interest rates come down in the market, and that's telling you, and the probability of a Fed rate cut for their next meeting went higher. So what that means is there's more green light for the Fed because of their dual mandate for pricing and jobs. When they start to see these cracks in the job market, they're going to act accordingly. So what all does this have to do with you? Well, if you have short-term cash needs, that's one of these things where I wouldn't necessarily wait to do that. I would go ahead and raise the cash that you need now. But if you're able to think long-term and have a longer time horizon, look for maybe some opportunities if there is a pullback here. But history has told us this is not something that is very volatile, but we're going to continue to monitor this particular shutdown to see if there's anything that we need to be concerned about moving forward. As always, if you have questions about your individual portfolio or ways in which we can help you, feel free to reach out and give us a call. You can reach us at 904-346-3460. As always, check us out online at www.riverplacecapital.com. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your week. Thanks so much for watching.